Okay, so what we're working on today is project number 29. And so I'm going to go through that very quickly on some of the things we're doing there. So the first thing I'm going to do is put in the title to this assignment. So to do that, the first thing I'll do is go to Word Art. We'll put that in that way. So I'm going to come over here and click on Insert. Come down here to Image, it's not Image, I'm sorry, Drawing, and New. Now I'm going to come over here and click on Actions, Word Art, Word Art. One comment here for Word Art in Google is not that good. There's a lot better stuff in Microsoft Word. One of the many features that quite simply is better in Microsoft. But right now we're doing this using the Google Docs program. So, citing online sources is the name of today's assignment. Good. Making sure that I've spelled it right. And so once you're done putting that in, you'll just hit the enter key and that's going to pop that in just like that. Now, going back to what I've told you before, unless you're otherwise told, everything you do for school is in Times New Roman. Now, I'm not going to go to 12-point font right here on this one. I am going to go ahead and get rid of that fill color. You see there's a blue inside of those letters. I'll click on the fill color here. And on this one, I want transparent. Okay. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to select 2-point, okay? And the only other thing I will do here is make this bold, okay? So that's really all we're doing with the title here. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on Save and Close, and you see it pop that in the top. I will click on that. I'm going to make sure that that is center aligned, okay? Now I'm just going to go ahead and hit Enter twice, and I will left align. I'm going to bump that up to 12-point font and Times New Roman. So we've got that there, and the next thing I'm going to do is come up here to citing. Citing a source. When you copy something, Control-C, you need to say where you got it from. Control-Shift-V, and the reason I went Control-Shift-V is because I wanted to maintain the format, and this thing is taking forever. I'm going to go back and make sure I copied that. Okay, so because somehow this is Control-C. Let's try that again. And Control-Shift-V. Okay, it doesn't seem to be pasting, so I'm going to right-click over here and select Paste. Good. Now, because if I did it that way, I will have to go and make a bunch of changes here. Text color black, 12-point font, Times New Roman. Control-Shift-V should have done what you needed, okay? I'm not quite sure why mine didn't, but it didn't. Enter, and online article citation. Okay, enter. And again, I'm just going to come back over to here and grab some text. Most on and magazines. Okay, we're going to grab this whole block here, and we're going to do some more stuff with it in a minute. Control-C. Coming back over to here, and again, Control-Shift-V. And that time it did it just fine. Okay, so when you copy something from anywhere, when you're doing schoolwork, you need to say where you got it from. And it isn't just schoolwork. I will tell you, even professionally, you notice I hit backspace, spacebar to bring that together. Even professionally, many times you'll be writing stuff that is well researched, and you need to say where you got the information from. Such as, I'm going to put a colon right there because we're going to put a list under it. Now I'm going to hit enter there, and I'm going to grab these two right here, and I will go ahead and apply a bulleted list style right there. Now, if you're really dying to have that and right there, I'm going to get rid of it. It actually belongs on the last item in a bulleted list. But the truth is, and I would have to come back over here and get rid of that A. But the truth is, it doesn't matter that much. So I'm just going to go ahead and do it that way, okay? So where I was going a moment ago is, and now I'm going to turn off the bulleted list function. Okay, so it doesn't make it look weaker when you cite sources. In fact, it makes it look a lot stronger, because now if somebody disagrees, particularly in the business world when you're writing a research document, if they disagree, they're not disagreeing with you. They're disagreeing with all of the experts that you cited. And that puts them in a significantly weaker position. So Citing your work is important even outside of school. Control C. I've done a lot of work done a lot of documents that way. Control Shift V. And work in the working world. Now I'm going to come over here before the word "and." You can see where I'm at right here. I'm going to go backspace, spacebar, and that came together just the way it should have. Enter. Now we're going to put a list of the things that you should put in when you're citing an online article. Notice I'm selecting that and making that bold, by the way. Okay, so these are the things you need to put in, and we've talked about how to use the citation tool. I went ahead and clicked on tool, and it's right here, and you're going to have a lot of places you can put in information. Remember, a place you can put in information we call a field. There are going to be a lot of fields, and I'm going to tell you which ones you need to have filled in when you're citing information from a web page. So now I'm going to come over here to the numbered list tool. We haven't used it as much. I'm going to click on numbered list, and I'm just going to start typing some stuff in. The author of the article. Article. Notice when I hit enter, it just put the 2 in for me automatically. Website title. Publisher name. I'm going to minimize this because I do realize that I'm now behind you, and I need to fix that. Okay, date published. Date you visited the site, and I'll talk about that in just a second. And what was next? URL. URL of the page you used. Okay, and I feel like I missed something here. Author of article. Oh, yeah, author. So I click right there, and article title. That makes sense. Okay, I'm going to go through these a little bit. So the author of the article is relatively obvious. If there is no author's name, then there is no author's name. But there might be one, and you should include them. The name of the article, like maybe you went to a Popular Mechanics magazine website for Best Toasters of 2004. Okay, and so that was the article, Best Toasters of 2004. The website was, of course, Popular Mechanics. The publisher's name, typically these magazines and these websites are not owned by the name of the website. They're owned by somebody who bought up a bunch of websites. So let's say maybe Popular Mechanics is owned by Ziff Davis Publishing. That's the kind of thing that would go there. The date published, that's on the article. Now, this one's kind of an odd one, the date you visited the site. By the way, typically you will see it as date accessed. When you're filling these forms in the citation manager, you might not see something that says date you published or that you visited. It will probably say date accessed or accessed date, something with the word accessed. What that's about is that websites can change. Information can be rewritten. And so they want to be able to go back and look at what you actually looked at. And to do that, they might use something like the Wayback Machine, which is, of course, a way of looking at web pages as they looked in the past. And so it's important that they know what date to look at there. The URL, again, Uniform Resource Locator or Universal Resource Locator. I've seen it both ways in well-written books, so it really doesn't, and let's face it, nobody says Uniform or Universal Resource Locator anyways. They say URL, and that's, of course, the name right up here at the top. So this section up here. Okay, so we're done with this part here, enter, and you see what happened. After I hit that the second time, it broke me out of that. Now, professional website citation. And yes, I do see my typo. Enter. Okay, now I'm going to be lazy, and we're just going to go copy some stuff again. Okay. Professional sites are those from schools, universities, governments, museums, things like that. Control C. Coming back over here to our assignment. This is a really easy assignment. Control Shift V. Now we've got that. Now we're just going to go ahead and do that backspace spacebar thing to make sure that all of this is right. Okay, now here examples of websites are, so we're going to put those in a bulleted list. So I'm going to put a colon right there, indicating that we're going to have a list following this. Enter, and I'm just going to come over here to where it says "and Harvard EVU," backspace over that word and hit enter, and then I'm going to get rid of that dot right there because that didn't work right, and I will go ahead and make that a bulleted list. That was sure easy. Okay, enter, enter, good. And what are we going to say next? Okay, so I'm going to hit enter once more to break the new paragraph. Let's come over here and have a look. Citation information for professional website. Control C and Control Shift V. And as it says here, when we're talking about professional websites, and it says here, universities, schools. Now, one thing that can really fool you on a school website, like if you do go to something like Harvard EDU, is a lot of students have their work posted, and so not everything at an EDU website, EDU indicating that it is a educational institution, it primarily means colleges. Not everything's actually authoritative. So you need to be a little bit careful on these EDU sites because some of the stuff is stuff students have written and some of it's pretty much garbage. Some of it's pretty good. .gov should be relatively obvious. That is a U.S. government. Okay, other countries' governments may use other indicators. So .gov would indicate the United States. .org could be almost anything. There's no restrictions on what can call themselves .org, but primarily it is professional institutions like museums, organizations, even companies are probably going to be .com unless it's like the research division of that company. They might do .org, but it would be kind of unusual. So anyways, I'm going to go ahead and hit enter here. And we're going to start numbering again. So we're going to continue making a numbered list, and then we'll do the only trick to the entire assignment. So title of page or section. And all I did was hit enter to jump down to the next one, website title. Name of organization. Author of page or section. Date the site was last updated. And unlike regular websites, typically that will be put there so people know what can track when they're looking at it. And again, the date you looked at the site, which was your access date or date accessed. However, it's going to be phrased in your citation manager tools. And of course, the URL of the site of the page you used. Okay, and I see another one of my typos. I see it. Okay, now, the only real trick to this one, what they wanted you to do, because they want you to see how to customize the numbering, okay? They want you to change this so that it jumps from 7 here to 8 here, and that's going to be really easy. What I'm going to do is you see my cursor is positioned directly over that number 1. I'm going to go ahead and left click, okay? And then, having left clicked, I'm going to come right here to continue previous numbering. Yeah, it really was that easy, okay? So now you see that the numbering continues straight through. Okay, this actually was the entire assignment. It's a pretty easy one, so make sure you get that finished and turned in.